It's the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their mind. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.
And we are live. Welcome everyone. It is well, it's a bit of a return to the roots, I guess. The philosophy night, shadows. But I guess we've got other things to get over with just first. I luckily for you guys that my video's gone down, my video editor, so you can't see some of the stuff I've been cutting today, but I have been working on a video that I cut a segment out of a show last night that QE did, and OMG, it turns out that the elevation angle is turned into a triangle. There's some weird stuff happening, like really weird stuff. I've always considered Gary Webenga as the resident Flat Earth Society guy. Whenever the Globe guys are missing somebody to be a flat earther, Gary Webenga's the man. He's there, he's everywhere, all over the place. He's your man. Yet last night, Gary Webenga got called a baller by QE and Adam, Nathan Oakley. There's some really weird stuff going on, like really weird. I don't know what to think of it. And I think even resident flat earthers are wondering what's going on. It's like Nathan Oakley, QE, and Adam, and Brian's Logic as well, you know, the little group of them, the flat earth debate guys, they've exposed themselves, I think, as part of the flat earth society. It can't be anything else. They've developed an angle into a triangle, even though we've been saying for a long time. I don't know whether I've made them do that or whether they've just done it within the context of their little paracosm that they've made. Sort of the thing that we're talking about tonight, right? We are going to go over a particular piece of a work by Plato, The Republic. It's a pretty deep story about how to fool people into believing a whole new paradigm. And the bit we're going to go over tonight is the sort of the education part of it. Most people will have heard of the cave, the allegory of the cave, Plato's cave. We'll be going over it. Hopefully we'll go into Discord and do it as a, you know, a slightly more private one, because I think we've got a lot of stuff to discuss, particularly about what went on last night that doesn't need to be aired publicly like this. So the message today will be, please come into Discord, because this is only going to run for about an hour or so, and then we're going to go into Discord, because we're going to be doing some reading, and we want people to get involved in it. So the place to get involved is Discord. It's not going to be recorded live. It's not going to go out live, so don't worry about that. We want more people to get involved in the conversation. And since what we're talking about is shadows, and we've talked about these shadow giants for quite a while, and it comes from this particular allegory. These shadows are the things that you're watching. They're the TV pictures. They're the lies, let's say, that people tell. And the play, or the book 7 of Plato, we go over it tonight. That's where all of this sort of stuff is explained, and it may help us see what's actually going on and how the deceit is taking place, you know, when we go over it. Hopefully people will be able to get involved in the conversation as we go over it. But for an example, what happened last night was pretty evident to most of us, that these shadows that these guys are laying down, they're casting shadows for other people to pick up, to look at, whatever. This is what's going on. QE last night went absolutely mental about an angle being a triangle, even contradicting himself from what he said earlier to Bacon, I think it was. Having the ability to go over it again is going to be something, you know. But the point is, these shadows that QE, for instance, is casting, QE and Nathan and Adam, all of these sort of things that they're casting for the flat earthers to pick up and use, well, they may not be a truthful value to them. They may just be shadows being cast by people that want to fool you, or I don't know. I mean, that's what we're going to be going over. How and why are these people casting these shadows? For what purpose? For what reason? I can't understand why. Well, QE's got an argument and he's defending his friends. But there's no purpose to tell everybody an angle is a triangle, because the difference is the tri bit. There's 3 angles in a triangle, yet an angle is only one of them. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, take 2 of them away, and then what can you do?
Yeah, well, it's developed itself. It's grown now within this argument. And which argument? Well, the argument that these guys have made up. They've developed this one angle in the vertical plane into an entire triangle. It's impossible, but within the framework of their argument, that's what they've done.
They're out of control, man. And anybody who tries to give them who tries to tell them anything gets pretty much shut down, man. I'm glad we're discussing this, man. Very glad, because whoever's watching, wait till you see this if you haven't already.
Yeah, no, we're not going over that tonight. We will be going over it, but we're not tonight. This is a completely different thing. Yeah, this is about philosophy. But I mean, this goes to show you, what ills can be made from these, call it untruths, right?
Or to stay with the theme, right? The shadow casters.
Yeah.
Here's the question for the audience as we get into this thing today. To me, this is just a small example, right? That Bev is bringing up here, but are people like QE, Nathan, Adam, like they talked about last night, are they casting a shadow for other people to look at and then suddenly see something that's not really real, but appears to be real because it's a shadow that got casted in front of them? Is that what's happening, or is there something else happening? That's really the question here. And what happens if you try to state what's happening? State that's a shadow. That's not real. What you've said there is just not real. Then what happens? Well, I think we all know what happens. In the case of QE and Nathan, you get, like Gary Webenga, you get called a glober.
Yeah, and there were people that came in afterwards that obviously don't know who Gary Webenga is, and they were saying that glober that you had on earlier.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Like Nathan Oakley literally cast a shadow out there, letting people know that Gary Webenga wasn't a flat earther, right? Well, I don't know whether Gary considers himself a flat earther. Like I say, I'd always considered him flat earth society, but within this arena, the talky arena that we're in, Gary Webenga does way more than Nathan Oakley could ever do. He talks to way more people. Like
all of them combined.
Yeah, for Nathan to say that about Gary Webenga is just disrespectful, right, to the talking arena, at least. I think it's bad when people like that. Nathan, I'm saying now, because Nathan, I know Nathan considers himself as a grandmaster within the flat earth community, and QE as well. But I mean, who are they? They're not. They're not doing anything in any of this stuff, are they? They don't do any debates. They don't go anywhere. They just sit in their little room and dictate to everybody else what everybody else is doing wrong.
Brian's logic will come out every now and then, but they've made it so, I don't know if they realize this, they've made it so difficult for us to debate in other platforms. Like, they've gave so much power to the angle that, man, I got like Jesse throwing all these whole charts at theodolite angles with mountains and all this. They've gave so much power to the angle. Now they're trying to make it a triangle. Like, it's insane, man.
Well, you know what's happened with that, Brian, right? The consequences of doing what QE and Nathan and Adam did last night is that now anyone going against the let's say these types of flat earthers can say, you guys now have a claim for a distance to every heavenly body. If you turn an elevation angle into a right angle triangle, and you provide a distance for one of those sides, you're done. You have just made a positive claim for a distance to the heavenly bodies. Try to undo that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when they
Congratulations.
they make the adjacent or the baseline the Earth, they you know, in their rooms it works because they can just make the baseline the Earth, call it the Earth, and shut it down, cut it off at the angles. Don't let the conversation progress. But once it gets past that, then and it always will. It just, I mean, it's impossible to defend some of this stuff, man. It's I don't know, man. I'd like to have a talk with them, but I mean that's impossible. You just
You can't communicate with
bitched at,
them.
shut down.
Yeah, Chris Berry's in the chat saying that they don't do any debates, which is right. They don't do any debates. Bev, meanwhile, Bev stays in his Discord. Well, who wants to debate a false dichotomy? No one. That's the truth, Chris. I mean, if you want to go and team up with Brenda and debate for the false dichotomy and I'll debate against it, then make your guess, right? I've been telling everyone it's not the spherical globe, dogmatic globe. Definitely, that's way gone. Nobody in this Discord ever even considers it. There's no point. It's ridiculous. So as now is flat Earth is becoming ridiculous. Always has been. But I mean, like people like Brian and Rob Keane, and there are people that we do communicate with, right? Now Brian and all that, we've always said, right, Brian, it's not flat. We're not flat earthers here. We just live in reality and we'll have a conversation with anyone about it. But I can't go into a debate against Jesse Gordon. What would I debate him against? What would I go on Jeranism for? I'm not a flat earther.
Well, I was just pointing out the hypocrisy because just literally 2 minutes ago you said Nathan and QE, they think they're grandfathers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And what do they do? What are they doing? They don't even go do debates or anything.
They don't.
And so, right, but you don't either. So what's the difference?
I don't sit here telling flat earthers what they should and shouldn't do whilst in a position of being a flat earther that does nothing myself. That I don't do that.
Flat earthers. You don't tell flat earthers things?
What do you mean? I don't tell flat earthers not to say things. Model,
and don't you say that you say Earth isn't flat, right?
Yeah, it's not flat.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not telling people not to say things. I'm not like Nathan Oakley, slagging like Witsit off and slagging, other people off with other different arguments. I don't do that. There's no point. There is nobody else has any arguments. How can you debate somebody who has no argument?
They have good arguments.
Who does?
Nathan, QE.
What's the best one?
Anybody that's been in flat Earth for a long time.
Give us the best argument.
The Black Swan is a good argument.
It's a fallacious modus tollens.
Fallacious modus tollens.
It's like one of the worst arguments.
If you took it, that's fine. If you took it to its logical conclusion, then it's a good argument, right?
No, it's a fallacious modus tollens.
Okay, so let me do it. You tell me why it's not good. Okay, if Earth were a sphere of whatever radius they say,
I'll get it for you.
Yeah, you get it. Okay, if Earth were a sphere of X radius, you'd have a horizon at 1.22 times the square root of the whatever, right? The horizon isn't at that value. It's like 10 times further than that value. Therefore, the radius.
Do you want to read it out? It's in the chat if you want to read it out.
Yeah. If Earth is sphere with the radius 3959 miles p, then horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1225 times square root of observer's height in feet, q, not q, and therefore not p. Therefore, Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959.
It's not what it says, Chris.
What it says there,
That's
Chris.
not what it says, Chris.
Okay, what I'm saying is that's the logical conclusion. So what's wrong with that?
No,
Chris,
that's
read what it
fallacious.
says. Read what it
I said
says,
is not
Chris.
fallacious.
That's not what this says. You said
I
that
don't care what that says.
But this is the black swan argument, verbatim.
No, it's not. That's
yes, it is verbatim.
No, let me finish.
Yes.
It's been posted.
Yes,
everywhere.
it is.
Flatsoid,
Wait a minute! Don't lie, Chris.
You're-
Don't lie,
Flatsoid did
Chris.
a
You don't need
Spanish
to lie.
version this morning with this very same fallacious conclusion in it.
That's their conclusion. That's what I'm telling you. My conclusion is Earth is on a sphere of 3959 radius.
Your conclusion is not the black swan argument, Chris.
It is. It's
No,
the right
sir, it's
argument.
not.
It's the right
Chris,
one.
this is the black swan argument. QE
I
put
think
this
it is.
out. They still put it out. As Bev said, Flatsoid just put it out today with
You gotta
this
admit
same
this, Chris.
faulty conclusion.
Got to
It's
admit
not
this,
a fair
Chris.
argument.
We have to fix all their arguments. That's probably their best close argument, but we have to fix all their arguments, man. But they have
Yeah,
brought a long time ago, man. But it just went south to me, man.
That's what I'm doing. I'm fixing it. They're saying it's not logical. I agree. The logical conclusion, though, is still Earth is not a sphere at 3959. That means that the globe model has been debunked.
No, Chris, that's not what it says. It's just that you
That's what
falsify
the
that one
What do you mean
radius.
that's not what it says?
Chris. That argument,
The one
you
radius-
falsify one radius, yes.
The globe model radius. Yes, that's a big deal.
Is it? Who says it? Who said that?
Anyone who's looking into this, who says if Earth's a globe, and if all of these measurements are supposed to add up to the globe of 3959,
Mm-hmm.
Black Swan debunks that. Therefore, none of the measurements would work.
Okay, here we
Kind of
go.
a straw
Here's
man.
another one for you, Chris. Right? When was the last time that you got a horizon distance measurement to verify this?
I mean, me personally.
Anyone.
Well, what do you mean? Well, what's the difference?
Well,
If someone's done it,
can you measure the distance to the horizon now?
you can guesstimate the distance, I would say.
Right, okay. Now, this argument, it states, if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, then horizon distance measurements must be no more than. So it appears that if the Earth has a sphere, then you can measure a distance to the horizon. Now, can you measure a distance to the horizon, Chris?
You can measure an estimated distance to the horizon. Yeah.
No, you can calculate or estimate. This is not measurement.
So that's
So how
another
do they-
problem, right? That we've got that
No,
your
it's not. Listen,
actual,
listen.
your consequent isn't really a consequent of the antecedent, is it? It's not a natural consequent, since you
It-
cannot
sorry,
you cannot
the way that they
actually
do
measure
it-
that.
So sorry, it is consequent, but this consequent is impossible.
Mhm.
It is logical
not.
consequent, but not real.
It's
because
not
it's
impossible,
because
did
they're
you say,
using-
Chris?
Yeah, let me explain. And then I gotta go. They're using physical objects to measure the distance. So they know the exact distance of these physical objects to those oil tankers or whatever, oil towers. Those towers are, let's say, 9 miles away. The horizon's supposed to be, 1.5 miles away. The horizon is beyond 9 miles. Therefore, we can at least conclude the horizon is beyond 9 miles, which is however many times past the physical geometric horizon that
Not
they say you're
measured,
supposed to
though.
have.
So it is not measured. It is
It is
estimated
measured.
to be farther. Yes, estimated to be
Well-
farther than these oil rigs. Yes, but this is not
Well,
measurements.
It's further than if the right. So what's the common sense conclusion? If the horizon is further than the oil rig and the oil rig is 9 miles, it must be, ergo facto, beyond 9 miles.
Yes, but it is not what this modus tollens says. This is your improved version. This is not what
Okay.
it says.
So I'm improving it.
Yeah, I
Well,
will say
remember,
this about the Black Swan: they quit claiming geometric horizon, but now they just claim. I mean, it works if you shut it. Once again, it works if you shut the argument down after making the claim and cut it off at the ankles and don't let somebody talk. But once you get past the fact that the horizon is in a refracted position, but it did steal their geometric horizon away. But yeah, you do got to fix it also,
But
man.
we had a discussion with Nathan Oakley. The horizon being horizontal is geometric. The just about the only thing that can be said about the horizon is that, and it does happen to be a geometric statement. The horizon is horizontal. That's a geometric statement.
I didn't catch that. I got to think about that one for a minute.
can we go back to the origination of this and why Chris came in? So Chris came in. Bev asked him to provide. He made the claim that the Fed guys have good arguments, plural.
Mm.
Bev said, "Give us your best one." Chris says, "Black Swan." Bev brings up the exact Black Swan argument verbatim, and Chris has to fix it. So what does that say for the best arguments from Fed guys?
I'd take Chris any day in a debate over any of them guys at FPD.
At least I will in my opinion,
No,
I will
I don't
tell you
think
this
so.
about I will say this about Chris. At least he could see the fallacy and he fixed it verbally. However, none of the Fed guys nor Flatzoid has ever fixed it. Why? Because it opens the door for moving the goalposts from the globe side, which, I mean, come on, let's be real. The Globers have never moved the goalposts when it comes to their heliocentric model, have they? Right? They've never moved the goalposts when it comes to, let's say, the distance of the sun or anything else. So all this does, even if you fix it as Chris has done, I mean, well done, Chris. Absolutely, I'm being sincere. You spotted the fallacy. You verbally fixed the fallacy. Well done. That doesn't fix the actual fallacy that they put out, but nonetheless, if they were being honest,
that they keep promoting.
Yes, if they were being honest, and the conclusion was, as you verbally stated, Earth is not a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then that would be a correct modus tollens, not a fallacious one. But then doesn't that open the door to Glober's just saying different radius? We can go with a different radius. We'll figure it out. And there you go. But then, as Bev points out, you still have the problem
They already did.
A measurement.
Kevin, They
I
already did. They have refraction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Refraction.
There you go.
This is their response.
But that's one of the problems, right? Because really, like Chris said, it's too far away over there. So the actual outcome of this argument is it's just another we see too far. It literally, it's a we see too far argument wrapped up in a fallacious modus tollens. It's ridiculous.
It's bad.
It's a really bad statement to start off with. I've always said that we see too far is a ridiculous thing to say.
But that's the best they have.
Can I ask Chris something real quick? Chris, you got 1 second to answer a question, bub?
I mean, if I can, yeah.
All right. Hey, what do you think about their argument that you can't measure a angle on a globe? Do you use that one, or?
I use it as a troll. It pisses the Globers off. I don't know what you think about that.
I made a video, but you do need a plane. You do need a plane. They take it down to the equatorial horizon, and do a plane. And so that part's legitimate. And Adam every now, sometimes brings the legitimacy of the to me the celestial navigation argument is how they take a measurement from one position and then bring it to a fictitious. They say bring it down to hell and do the math. But as far as saying that they can't, it doesn't work outside of the room. If you don't cut the argument off, to me, it doesn't. You can't just say that you can't measure an angle on a globe. I don't know. I might be missing something, but I was just wondering what your stance was on that.
I have to plead ignorance. I don't understand all of the geometry of either side, to be quite honest. All I can say is for the Globers, well, if we're saying you have to have a flat plane, well, the globers are using a globe, the celestial sphere, right? The stars around the supposed globe, and their angles. Okay, so I don't know how to get around that fact. I understand the angle. You need a flat plane for an angle because the 90 degree, to have a 90 degree angle, you have the bottom or whatever side, right? One of the sides must be flat. But then I've seen images of the globe where they say, oh, well, we're not measuring from the surface of the globe. We're going to the center of the globe, which is a presupposition. If you're trying to prove a globe, right, you don't say we're going to the center of this presupposition. To then get their flat plane, they cut the globe in half, right? You've seen those images. We're measuring from the center of the Earth to the whatever, say to the star, to get our angle. So that to me is a little fishy. I'm like, well, why would you have to do that at all to get your angle? And so that's where I plead ignorance. I don't understand how that works. So
to me, that's the argument to be had. What you just said, you worded it a lot better than I tried to. But to me, that's the legitimate argument to be had. But it just seems like, just saying that they can't have an elevation angle is kind of ridiculous, man. Like, they just call it a tangent. I don't agree with anything about it, but just say that that it's not possible. To call the baseline the Earth. I don't know, man.
We're just measuring angles, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's no Earth within geometry. It doesn't work like that. You're either using geometry and angles within reality, but I mean, there's no Earth, so you're just measuring angles. Like, you can stand on the top of a ball and measure an angle in the vertical plane. Dead easy. Nobody says you can't do it. You can definitely do it.
Some people do say you can't, and I brought up the point in Earth Awakenings, like just to get past that and get down to the, they could just stick their two arms out and call that and extend that as a fucking angle. It doesn't even have to be a baseline, but either way, it's an imaginary line anyway. It's not like a string line in reality. I suppose you could pull one, but I don't know, man. I just it doesn't really work for me, man. Because I'm not going to sit there and lie, debate, not willingly lie, man. If I get something wrong, that's one thing. But to say that they can't measure an elevation angle, I don't know, man. If that's honest, man, I don't think that's honest. I don't think it works on a globe, but I don't think that's an honest statement.
So can I break in here because Gord's put in a super chat a bit ago. Yeah. His attempt, I think Gord's attempt at some logic. Let's see how he did. If QE is poor with wording P, then he'll say stupid things Q. He says stupid things Q, therefore he is poor with wording P. I think that's a bit of a circular reasoning, Gord's, but I like the attempt. I mean, we might need to work on that a little bit.
Yeah,
but thanks for the super chat, Gord's.
Definitely.
Sorry, yeah. I responded to Gord's in chat.
Did you? Go ahead.
Yes, this is affirming the consequence of fallacy because
yes.
I will explain then what is correct because people miss the point of this modus ponens or modus tollens, whatever. But in case of modus ponens, affirming this is affirming by affirming, but we are affirming something by affirming something else. So we are affirming consequent, but not by affirming consequent. We are affirming consequent by affirming antecedent. This is correct form.
Right.
So, and Godzilla was doing, he affirmed consequent by affirming consequent. That's why his modus ponens is fallacious.
I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
You should affirm Q by affirming P. That would be correct.
Yes.
But in this way, as he did, it is affirming the consequent fallacy.
Yeah, and it was humorous. I'm with Brian there. But if I can, let me just, because I thought Eric had a good point as well in this discussion. So Eric put in the YouTube chat that imagining a distance measurement to the horizon instead of noticing that the horizon is horizontal. Yes. But that seems to be the way it is, right? Better to have for some reason, better to make a positive claim about something that you're completely wrong about or can't know. This is what's confusing to me about these characters in this arena.
Yeah, when Nathan went into Earth Awakenings, like Jeremy, like he was kind of giving it some thought, and he kind of started from a good position. Like he said, let's break it down. He said, let's start with a globe and a flat Earth, imaginary, and so what do we do? What do we start with? Okay, we have a sextant, and we measure an angle. So he was trying to get Nathan to. It wound up getting sidetracked, but I don't think Nathan got the point Jeremy was trying to get to. Like Jeremy was trying to find out at what point it deviates from not working on a globe. And to me, there is a point that happens, but not where they say it. And Jeremy's saying, so we measure an angle to the horizon on a globe and on a flat Earth, and they wouldn't give him that. No, he's not measuring an angle. Like, what do you mean, dude? That's not the point where the argument breaks down on the damn angle measurement itself. But I have to re-listen to that. But I thought that was
you can just measure an angle though, right? Because all you actually need, because you become the point, the apex, right? The vertex.
Yes.
Right. You are that bit where the angle is measured. So all you really need is 2 points. And you're measuring the angle between those 2 points.
I don't need a flat Earth to measure an angle?
No.
Not at all.
You do not need a flat Earth.
Not at all. You can measure an angle. Now, you can separate that angle if you want into depression and elevation. But the actual tool, the measurement, the angle, the sextant, that doesn't establish a level at all. It's not a tool for doing that. So
bullshit. In here, QE, the sextant measures right triangles, remember?
I know, like the whole triangle. He's mental. I don't know why he's doing that. It's probably to defend Nathan, right? And because we were saying, 10th Man sold them that. 10th Man is a salesman, right? That's what he did. He sold them that triangle measured by a sextant. And we told them at the beginning when Brian's Logic and Effie Egypt came round here trying to sell us that bullshit. We told them, no, I'm not having it. It's ridiculous. And they said, get on board. Come on. Do it. We went, no, we're not doing it. It's ridiculous. But 10th Man sold that to Nathan over years. I don't know how much money he put into it. He probably sustained Nathan Oakley for quite a while off that. Because Nathan bought it. Hook, line and sinker. And now QE's selling it as well for Nathan.
It's an interesting point for this reason. When I first brought it up and I first heard it, and it came from Rob Durham, the argument. Not I ain't talking about the whole sextant thing, but as far as the straight line needing a plane, and it's interesting when you're arguing with like Bob the Science Guy and McToon and all that, because they don't like to admit that you do need a plane to put your lines on, So that part's interesting. Like, but calling it the Earth is that's dishonest, man. And in my opinion, that's dishonest. But it's a good to hear them squirm a little bit and reluctantly admit that you put all them angles with all flat baselines on a plane. But to call that the Earth, man, it's really not honest to me, man.
Well, like we've been doing here for quite a long time, logic. And I found logic through geometry. And I found geometry through deriving a proof for something that I was asked for a proof for. Somebody called me a child abuser for saying something. And then they said, well, you've got no proof, have you? And I realized I didn't have any proof. I found the proof through geometry. But it doesn't prove a flat earth. And that's the step that Nathan Oakley's took at the beginning of this year that's made the difference. We've been saying it for quite a long time, right? But people have conversations with us and they've assumed that we were flat earthers. Well, we're not. Blue Marble's making a video tonight in which he's going to label somebody a flat earther. That's Blue Marble recruiting for the Flat Earth Society. Making people that aren't flat earthers into flat earthers. They've been doing it for years. Right? And every flat earther that says that I'm a flat earther also, or too scared to be a flat earther, well, they're working for the Flat Earth Society too. You don't just go round pointing fingers at people and calling them flat earthers when they're not. This whole false dichotomy is fucking ridiculous. And what you have to realise from last night, QE, Nathan Oakley, Adam Meakin, Brian's Logic, they're all delusional. They don't know the first thing about geometry. They've derived a new system of geometry that's only for in this arena. And when you watch people like Jaron doing things with Jesse Gordon, right? They're doing the same thing. They've made up arguments that only work within this little paracosm of these deluded people within a false dichotomy. It doesn't work outside of this. Doesn't work at all. In reality, nobody would have anything to do with any of these people.
Can I just say something about Jesse Gordon?
Yeah.
I just want to say Jesse Gordon was on Jaron's channel claiming to do surveying things with the Adelites, but not using any surveying practices that an actual surveyor would use.
Well, I think geodetic surveyors, like if they're measuring places they can't get to or mountains and shit,
surveyors, Brian. They're just surveyors. Like you've learnt a narrative within this thing. You've heard me say, right? I've got a certificate for land surveying. Now, do you know why I say that?
Because you've been through it. You've been to school.
But no, there is no more land surveying. It's not part of the curriculum. It's a part of geodetic surveying now. It's all just geodetic surveying. There's no difference. Right. They're just surveyors. But you keep going on about this as though there's two different types of surveyors. There isn't. But that fits this narrative, doesn't it, of the false dichotomy? Somebody's fooled you a long time ago. Well, maybe not fooled you, but he's fooled the entire arena into believing that there's a special type of surveyor. And this surveyor just measures angles. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that.
There's still, I mean, anything I measured, pretty much I use rise over run, and I base it off of the horizontal. But I was going to say, I heard that mountains and shit, they even back in the day, they would use angles and shit and do averages to get elevations to hard to get to places like mountains and shit. But I don't know. I've never done it. But he tries to use that as proof for a globe, these long distance measurements. And you know,
he likes people to believe that you measure vertical angles from the tops of mountains. Right now, that fits the narrative of the globe guys. But they don't actually do that.
That's what I fight
all
against.
Lied to you about it. It's not actual standard surveying practice. But nobody
It's not
cares
accurate
because
either, man.
you guys love it. You love the argument, the
No.
backwards and forwards.
Yeah, I might like the argument, but I'll say this: like I brought up when he showed me his spreadsheet and all that, I showed the 7 mile stretch of lights in a straight row in a time lapse, how they're going concave, flat to convex, concave. They bounce around. So if you were trying to measure just 7 miles, you would get all kinds of readings. You'd get flat, concave, convex, and my point is that these measurements are unreliable. I don't care how accurate your instrument is. There could be 3,000 clicks between every arc second. It doesn't matter. What's going on in the distance is unreliable, man. I stand behind that argument, man.
Again, that's the shadows that you've been like led to believe that are arguments, right? That every time, like, say you and somebody else has an argument and people listen to it, they think, oh, that's, like Brian did well, I'll take Brian's argument in that. So the next time somebody else brings it up, that I'll do that. And somebody says, well, I'll take Jesse's point. And you've generated an argument that isn't actually an argument. It doesn't get you anywhere. You're just going along with a narrative about this angle that can do magic things. Well, you can't do it like that. It doesn't work. And
That's what I was saying about
the
Nathan.
conclusions that these people come to. They don't
That's
work
what I was
either.
saying. With Nathan and them, they've given them the damn angles back, man. Like you was trying to take them away against Ruhif and all that, and Buster made the song and was show and then man, they're giving them angles, man. They're making it hard for us out in the rooms to
what
debate.
They've done is they've just shown that they are working with the same thing. Either Ruhif and them are in cahoots, or the thing that drives Ruhif to do it is also the same thing that drives Nathan Oakley and QE to do the same thing, except they haven't quite got it right. They've all got a right angle triangle. They still don't understand the geometric principles of the whole thing. They've still not actually looked at the actual geometry of this and seen it for what it is. They're still missing a massive piece.
That's what people absolutely have to ponder, Bev. You're 100% correct about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell them what it is either.
No.
If you want to come into the Discord, come into the Discord and we'll explain it like we have many times. But yeah, they're missing a whole point of the, what happens in reality and how all of this works. Yeah, so please come on into the Discord. We are going to be starting a Plato's Cave reading and a talk through, if you will, coming up. What we'll do is we'll try and relate it to things that are going on, because I found it makes philosophy and these sort of things a bit more relatable when you can see the circumstances that this sort of stuff might come around in. And trust me, tonight this is education and the want and need for education. That's what Plato's Cave's all about. Much more than just shadows. It's about it's about how you understand and gain knowledge from things and how to be sensitive to people, because there are multiple ways to look at this to be fair to people, right? That's why we go over this. So please do come into the Discord. Will anybody get the link out though? Is it working, the bot? It's been playing up a little bit.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I already put it out there. I'll put it out there again.
And yeah, what we're after is just we'll obviously be talking about this because
Askin got it.
It's the passion. Yeah, thank you very much, Askin. And this is where we are going to be going. It's it exposes much more to the mind, so you can see this going on. And like I say, there's the geometry of all of this is the way that you work things out, particularly, you know, through logic. It's led us to this point, and I think it gives us a benefit of a little bit of an experience. Now, nobody's saying we're correct, but what we're saying is we're open to that conversation. I hope other people should be too, and it shows a little bit of weakness, I think, if you aren't open for that conversation, particularly when we heard today. It's shameful, really, the way that things get turned around, particularly with Gary Wabenga last night. That was pretty bad, shameful.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was even a piece with Bacon, and he was talking about level water being horizontal, and QE was laughing at him, calling him a troll. I didn't really understand anything that was going on last night. I thought,
no,
you know, model affliction takes over and it clouds your mind. Hopefully we might get there tonight.
Yeah. It was Betty's side rule was in play big time yesterday, wasn't it? Because you had Bacon, who's a Glober, talking about the horizontality, if that's a word, of water, and they just laughed and scorned and ridiculed, and eventually QE got really upset and yelled and screamed like he does, and kicked him out.
He said he used a pan, a pot of water, which is one way to to gauge the horizontal baseline with a sextant, is use an artificial little stationary pail of water or bucket or pot, whatever. That's one way to do it. But QE said that he didn't want his audience to get their ears to get poisoned.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, like he's
what is that?
Information from his audience. I heard Nathan say the same thing. I don't want my audience to hear that. Like, bro, you're worried about they're supposed to be truth seekers. Why are you worried about them hearing other opinions, but much less something that is facts, that you should be agreeing with, that the water in a pot is horizontal and a lake is horizontal or canal, whatever, it's just weird.
Yeah. I mean, like Bacon was just saying something that they do to establish a baseline, right? That if you can't find it, then you can use this bucket of water to bounce. You use that as a mirror to be able to do. And they do actually use that. And I don't know why QE would ridicule it, because it does actually happen in reality.
And at the same time, he was saying that the angle is triangle, and this is not poisoning the well. Absolutely not. Oh.
Yeah. Backwards.
Crazy.
And by the way, I have checked many definitions and many dictionaries and in textbooks yesterday when I was listening to QE's stream. And this one in GeoGebra, I think it is made up completely. I don't think that GeoGebra is creating definitions there. I am not sure. Maybe they are just wrote this definition into GeoGebra on the screen.
GeoGebra is a learning tool, so maths teachers or whatever can derive and write anything within it, and it's natural for them to be able to use the axis and all of that to derive a maths lesson. So that's likely where that's come from.
Okay, but still, so it is the only source when you can see the triangle in the picture, and definition that says that this is triangle or whatever. Because in other places there is no mention of any triangle, and in pictures there are no triangles.
I agree with you, Paper. I think to me the important thing about all of that is the example of providing any citation that happens to agree with you is that then becomes proof of some sort, right? Instead of the actual experience of what was being discussed, the actual what happens in the whole Bev's thing about what happens in reality, what is going on in reality. QE and Nathan and others think you can just put a citation out, you just grab a citation from wherever you happen to grab a citation, as long as it agrees with you. Hang on, Brian. As long as it agrees with you, you're good. You just proved. Yes, it did. The citation that QE put up, as Paper says, whether it was falsely construed or whatever, is irrelevant. The way that QE did the way that QE did the wizardry, and this is important because wizardry is all part of Plato's cave. It's all kind of interwoven, right? The way that QE and Nathan do their wizardry is, as long as I can get a citation that proves what I say it proves, you can't debunk it. You can't argue with it. And if you try to, then we see what happens.
I'll admit this: I didn't see all of the citations, but I caught the last couple of them, and they said reality. Like, you can form a right triangle with an elevation angle, but for him, but for him to just go off saying that elevation angle is a right triangle and stick to it so adamantly, and everybody agreeing, and then calling people retarded for not thinking that there's three angles in a right triangle. The elevation angle is one of them, so, but that's what the citations that he posted that I've seen said, that you can form, a right triangle and to do calculations, whatever, but to call it a right triangle, that's just over the edge, man. And then calling Gary retarded and
yeah, but that's the consequence, isn't it? It was the same thing with the citation. What was the citation from Sustainable by Design that Nathan?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
A solar. Yeah, what was it? What was the citation?
The horizontal that you're standing on.
Yeah, the horizontal that you're standing on. That's
right.
It
says imaginary. That's the thing. I kept pointing out to Nathan. It says imaginary. The imaginary line between the celestial body and the observer and the horizontal the observer is standing on it. I kept pointing out, but it says imaginary. The horizontal the observer is standing on. No, the imaginary. It says imaginary. There's no comma. There's no full stop. It's one sentence.
that became a proof. That became a proof, though. And then what happened when you had challenged that, Elder Bear?
Yeah.
Holy cow, right?
And lots of people are putting that out. And he said he had 12 or 13 citations, but he only ever delivers that one. And as long as it, like you say, a citation that suits their narrative. And any citation you could bring up, they would just throw out anyway, I think.
Instead of the reality, right? I mean, Gord's has got it. Citing solar panel company, their Earth is measured flat. So Earth is measured flat because of one citation from Lord knows where on the internet, and that makes it a proof. It's impossible to deny that. And if you try to question it or argue it, look out for you. You're going to get banned. You'll get tossed out of. You'll get timed out in the YouTube chats.
Well, Gary finally got a chance to. Betty stuck up for him when I joined. She asked QE to let me speak just to hear my arguments, and she did the same thing for Gary, and he did before Adam just derailed it. He did get to make one point, and that was that the elevation angle you measure goes to the horizon, and then to the light in the sky. To say that it's a right triangle, I think he had other points to make about that, but that's reality. You're measuring an angle to the horizon, and then to a body, one of the celestial bodies. And
you're missing the dip correction, though.
Well,
right. I understand all that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but that's when you do the dip correction, that is how they stand on the horizontal.
Yeah, that's how they imagine
After-
that they make a
after.
level,
Yeah,
but
yes.
it's not a level
I
when you
understand.
make a correction. It doesn't work like
Yes.
Right? I'm
Yes,
with
so
you. That's why I had to throw that in, because you can't really skip that.
that. Well, it's been
But why do-
sold by
That's the
10th Man
navigation.
has sold them that. Right?
Yeah.
10th Man has done a good job of selling that to Nathan Oakley. I'm not buying it. I never was.
And now they have to have that right angle triangle, right? For what? Because they're making a positive claim about something they should not be making a positive claim about. But they have to do it, just like the Globers have to do it. That's why what we say here, we get mocked for. We say it has to be. It has to be.
Dude, they're still saying that you could do shit with just an angle, like by calling it a latitude. That's doing something. Like the point is, if any of them are listening, geometrically, you can't do shit with just an angle, okay? And even in CellNav, you can't do shit. You can call it a latitude, yeah, you can name it, but geometrically, you can't calculate shit with just an angle. Period. And they just still keep giving them the angles, and saying you could do all kinds of, whatever, acting like you could do something with an angle, and then clipping you out, asking them a question like, "So yeah, you're doing something with an angle, eh?" And acting like you're reinforcing that or something when you're contesting it in your own verbiage.
Yeah, they
It's
draw circles, don't they?
Sonic.
You ask him. Like 10th Man draws a circle of equal altitude. Well, supposedly you get the circle from the angle, but I don't know how.
You're going to need a map. You're going to need assumptions. You're going to need a lot
to be able to spread your compass, to be able to draw the circle. How do you get that distance from an angle?
You're going to need, you're going to need an almanac. You need all kinds of shit. To,
But Nathan can't say that, can he?
So you need
Nathan
more than an angle
cannot
to do something
literally
with
say
an
any of that stuff because it would be him admitting that he needs more than just the angle. But he's he's tied himself to that mast. That's his.
that killed me that day. Dude, I remember when you said that originally. Like you can you can call it a latitude. You can label it, and that ain't that doing something, Bev? You're doing something with an angle. You're labeling it. I'm like, oh my god, they're all backing him up. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening here? Like they're literally all standing behind him, saying you can, when you're clearly making a point geometrically, like, and they're still waffling on about it. Like, dude, shut up, please, man.
Well, what the thing that should be should be made aware of, right? It's a vital flaw in Nathan Oakley's game or whatever. Yet none of the Globe guys call him on it. Why is that?
Mystery of mysteries.
Why do none of the Globe guys call Nathan Oakley on this biggest of his geometric blunders?
Yeah, it's been one of the most interesting things for me because since this has been, pointed out in maybe more than the past few weeks, but certainly in the past few weeks, I've been astounded that no Glober has jumped on it and thought, wow, this is a good one. This is a good argument, No, and nothing. Even when I pointed it out to them and said, well, why aren't you asking them? Why aren't you challenging this? Ask them how they measure the Earth flat. Nobody wants to touch it. Very
Well, what
strange.
does he do with the angle? Nobody's bothered asking him that. Like, what does he do with this magic angle? And that's because it's a false dichotomy position. They both need each other. It's pretty obvious. People need people saying stupid shit. Nathan Oakley tells flat earthers to say stupid shit. And then the Globe guys have got the flat earthers that say stupid shit to have a laugh at. Nathan Oakley's doing a disservice to the flat earthers.
Yeah, I know, man. But he's protecting his audience, man. He's protecting them from hearing things.
Who do you think his audience are, Brian?
No,
He
to
doesn't
me,
seem to have
dude,
much
to
of an
me,
audience.
all the flat earthers that went back to the globe are from that crowd, like STST, like Rachy, Ranty, Jose, a couple more. But it's like that's he. I don't know if he thinks he really doesn't care. I mean, he says he doesn't care. He ain't trying to sell it to nobody. But man, he sure is pretty adamant about protecting his audience. If he's not trying to convince people, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
Somebody in Nathan Oakley's chat today called Crockett. He's been telling me what the surveyor said to me for months now, right? But since Michael Kahn decided he was going to, steal the content. And he asked me today who my flirf daddy was. And I thought, when I heard that, I thought, that's not a flat earther.
No, that's McToon's shit there.
Yeah,
that's McToon's flirf daddy.
What if all of those people that are watching Nathan Oakley, the ones that are putting a division in between all of the people talking, what if all of those people are actually McToon's guys? What if Nathan's audience is that? Because I know I was watching McToon the other week, right? And he was talking to, I can't even remember who he was talking to. He was talking to a load of guys. It was talking to Fight the Flat Earth about the nominations for Top Left. And he said that he was, they were talking about Arwin. And he said, this is McToon, he said, 90% of the people in Arwin's chat are Globers. So take that on. If you know that, and McToon wouldn't lie about that sort of stuff, would he? McToon would know.
I don't know, man. McToon's a habitual liar, man. But I don't know. I double check everything he says, but still, he's making a point that seems valid, even if the numbers are not correct. There are a lot of but I don't know, man.
Have you never asked a Glober? Have you never asked a Glober if he's ever pretended to be a flat earther? And every time they'll say, yeah, of course they have. Try a sock account, go in, pretend to be a flat earther. They've all done it. For a laugh, for a joke. You never know who you're going to be talking to. You could even be talking to a bot that's been programmed to respond in a certain way. It does actually happen. It does go on. It's a real thing. These
I've
even the people you're talking to might be shadows. Not real.
I've suspected talking to bots, man, and especially chatting. And you can ask them if you want to find out if it's a bot. Just say something that doesn't make sense, but put in a keyword. And if they respond with anti-flat Earth response when you didn't even make an argument, you just typed in a keyword. Just say like frontier left hike gravity, and a bot will respond to that keyword with an anti-flat Earth type of comment. So it's kind of easy to expose the bots. At least it was. It's probably getting better, but I don't know.
Yeah, bots are definitely
on that note. We should probably get the logic. It's been about an hour.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the go into the Discord soon. People left and then we're still here. I'm gonna play a Buster song and then we'll get started in the Discord. Please come into Discord.
You gotta let me listen to the song first.
Okay.
I'll be back when the song is over.
Yeah, please jump into Discord. We are going to go over and have a go at reading, and a walkthrough of Plato's cave. please come in. We're going to be doing this more regularly. We've got a couple of university courses set up. We're going to go over for new people and old people alike. Please come on in, and this is where it's going to get fun. This is where the learning occurs. Short show tonight. Over to Discord. Please come and join us.
Yeah, I'll be back too, Bev.
Buster, are you there? Have you got your guitar?
Yeah, I've got it right here. I've just been working on something new. It's a song about looking for the truth. Play for you guys.
What are you doing? Will your shelf level or not? And if I say yes, you're going to provide that for me with that? Yes? See the bubble? I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad, naked caveman eyeball and a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry. You want to experience true level? Do you?
Oh, that's in the mind for all to face.
And it makes me angry.
Choices will be made.
You want to experience true level? Do you?
You can choose to let your mind be free.
Wow, it's so... Oh my God. Oh, Christ. Yeah, true level, bitch.
You might think that you're right.
Exactly. It's level.
Everybody knows that you're wrong.
And it makes me angry.
There are things in
Wow,
this
it's
world
so...
that are
Oh my God.
objectively
Oh,
true.
Christ. Yeah, true level, bitch.
In the end, you find we're all looking for the truth.
Save it for YouTube. I'll keep looking for clues. Wow, it's so... Oh my God. Oh, Christ. Yeah, true level, bitch.
And that's my midpoint, 981.
We will watch it all come tumbling down.
But look what I did here.
Tired of the lies,
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth
tired of the obfuscation now.
Everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
using this bridge,
Go to school,
computing the radius of the Earth.
I think that you're right.
3 coplanar points
Everybody knows that you're wrong.
in 3D would describe a circle.
There are things in this world
You want to experience true level?
that
Do
are
you?
objectively true.
True level, bitch.
In the end, you find we're all looking for the
I'll keep looking for clues.
That's the thing, your vision is already being obfuscated by the spherical cap.
One of the humps
light.
True level, bitch.
We will not let these shadows win. Step into the light.
Summer. Go on Morty's memory into a little.
radius of the Earth.
Lamp to the cosmic slaughter! Well, you seem to be in charge of what I get to remember. Why? Good question.
We will watch it burn.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
Ground in pieces. From the ashes come
Yeah. True level,
something
bitch.
that is pure for all to see.
Now we have our
It has been directly measured.
Do you?
Everybody knows that
Yes.
you're wrong.
By Jesse Kozlowski.
There are things in this world
you know, I got the idea from Belu. I'm not
that
kidding.
are objectively true.
Yeah. True level, bitch.
Find we're all looking for the truth.
I'll keep looking for clues. Yeah. True level, bitch. Yeah. True level, bitch. Oh my God. Oh Christ. Yeah. True level, bitch. True level, bitch. All right, save it for YouTube. I'll keep looking.